now, but where do you think like the innovation in this area, especially when we get even deeper into like taking in this retail data and analytics and being able to react to it in real time? How do you think about that? Where is it going? And especially like in the context of how Tredence might be involved in that kind of future
Yeah.
innovation.
Yeah. So I think, if you look at that space, a lot of folks are talking about Gen AI. And I think where folks are really struggling in the Gen AI space right now is in the consumer and customer facing use cases, right? And so the main use case that a lot of retailers have right now around Gen AI is just insights unlock, right? If
Hmm.
you look at some of our customers, which are, many of the world's largest retailers, they'll have 20,000 active users of their reporting platform, and they'll have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 reports, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're never going to find meaningful insights about your business by looking at hundreds of BI reports every single day. And so I think a lot of retailers are starting to dabble in Gen AI around, how do we start to extract insights from the data? How do we allow our store managers to be able to query our data to understand what's happening in the stores and the actions they should be taking? How do we help our merchandisers understand, whether they're in trade fund compliance or not with their suppliers? But the space I'm really excited about is when you start applying a lot of that to customer facing experiences and customer facing personnel. A lot of our clients are doing some really cool things. We're working with several kind of, general merch and hardline retailers where they're creating really exciting clienteling apps. So when you go up and you talk to somebody in an apparel store, as an example, you actually have a great understanding of that customer while you're servicing them directly off of your Gen AI application. So you can better personalize that experience with that customer at the point of interaction.
Morgan, what kind of things are you seeing in that instance? Because I've heard this talked about a
Yeah.
lot where people are like, okay, I have more information about my customer, but like, is it, future purchases? Like what kind of stuff is it
Yeah.
is in the hands of the associate now that wasn't
Yeah,
before?
so one of our clients is one of the world's largest drugstore chains, as an
Okay.
example. So they've obviously got your kind of traditional consumable products, et cetera, that they sell, as well as the pharmacy, right? And one of the things that they're doing is they're starting to understand the health patterns of their customer, and they're able
Okay.
to offer more personalized recommendations to the customer of products that they should be buying, things that might help them with a health condition, et cetera. And so it's doing obviously great things to their ability to personalize experiences for their customer and drive revenue growth, but it's also adding value to their customers' lives and helping extend customers' lives as
Sure.
well. And so, when you look at the type of information to your question, and that's really available, it's that full 360-degree picture of the customer and all of the touch points that they have with you. And so you can understand what they bought in the past and what that means around what type of products they should be buying or they're likely to
Sure.
buy, right?
Sure.
You can understand, is a certain customer more responsive to new products and high end products versus are they price sensitive and more promotionally responsive? And so you can really understand all of those different attitudes, behaviors, and preferences around your customer so you can personalize all of the services that you offer to that customer.
Got it.
Wild.
All right. So you gave us one example. I'm going to go back to my personnel interviewing days because whenever I get one example from somebody to a question, I would ask them, I'd say, oh, that's really good. Can you give me another example to see if they had just, prepared one answer? But I'm
Yeah.
curious, do you have another example or maybe multiple examples of retailers that you're actually helping in the regards that we've been describing in this podcast?
Yeah, so I think there's a super cool one as well, just kind of sticking in the Gen AI and the personalization space. One of our grocery clients, we actually helped them build a customer facing application that's on their website now, where the
Okay.
customer can go in and actually describe a type of event that they're planning,
Hmm.
what meals they're looking to prepare, et
Hmm.
cetera. And it automatically builds an entire basket for them. Right. So you could go in and say, hey, I'm planning, a big game coming up
Right.
for anybody who's into college football, Georgia Clemson this weekend. Right. You can come down and say, hey, I'm planning a party. I've got 12 people coming over for the game. Help me, with the right products that I should buy. And it'll build an entire basket for you. And they can just click check out and go right then and there. And so, we're seeing a lot of really cool use cases around better servicing and interacting with customers. And then, the other side of that is the ones that aren't super sexy, but are super important as well, which is, all about how we can create efficiency across our supply chains as well,
Mm.
right? And so one of our clients is one of the largest kind of prepared foods providers in the world. And so if you ever go into a convenience store as an example, all the pizzas that they have to pre-make, et cetera, there's actually not a lot of science that goes into that historically, right? And so if you look at the food waste there, most retailers are throwing out 40, 50, 60, 70% of the food that they prepare. What's the problem with that? Obviously, it's not sustainable for the planet, right? But it's awful for my P&L too, right? Because I'm preparing all these foods and I'm throwing it out. And so one of the really cool things that we've done is based on historical sales patterns, based on real-time information around events, weather, et cetera, we're actually sending automated recommendations to the store at the day part level about what products they should actually prepare each and every day by day part. And that's done a tremendous value for them, where they've been able to reduce their food wastage by over 40%. It's driven about $60 million of direct savings to their bottom line because they're not throwing all that stuff out anymore. And so there's huge use cases here that we've seen in retail around better customer experiences, but also a ton of just efficiency that can be created across the supply chain.
Holy mozzarella, and holy mozzarella.
I'll say, Morgan, this has been